What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to this 2023 Tesla Model S standard range. I just want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Leesburg Buick, GMC, and Hummer once again, especially Caleb, for allowing me to review this Model S. It is for sale in their used inventory, and I'll have all their contact information in the description box below. But this is going to be a full review and test drive of this Model S. It's been a little while since I've had the opportunity to check out a Tesla in general, and I know the Model S has been a staple in the Tesla model range for almost 12 years now, which is incredible. It's gone through quite a few revisions in terms of batteries and performance and exterior styling, but the basic formula is still the same after all these years. If you guys are unfamiliar, and I'm sure many of you are not unfamiliar, but the Model S came out in 2012 as Tesla's first kind of entry into the all-electric sedan market. It really revolutionized the entire electric vehicle industry as a whole. And like I said, all these years later, it's still making a significant impact. There are so many different battery options and performance levels available for the Model S, especially over the years, but I wanted to talk about this one here in particular because this is a standard range Model S. It was a one-year specialty for 2023 only, and it was sort of a cheaper alternative to the Model S Plaid, and it had around 320 miles of electric range, 670 horsepower, and 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Base MSRP of this car when it was new was around $78,000, which I think was around $10,000 cheaper than the next Model S in the lineup, which I think was the long range. But still, this is a very interesting car. Obviously, the Model S kind of speaks for itself now in the market. So starting right up front here, you can see the Model S received a facelift, I believe, for the 2020 model year. So you have a thinner, kind of no grill look right there with the Tesla logo right there. You have full LED headlights. I believe these are tinted as well. They look a little bit darker than maybe a standard headlight lens. Down below, you also have some openings for the battery cooling and some LED daytime running lights. This one is finished in the pearl white multi-coat, I believe, which was a little bit more of an expensive option. Continuing along, you also have the upgraded wheels on this example. So they're finished in gloss black with the 21-inch design right here with the split kind of 10-spoke look, if you will. You have Tesla brakes behind there. I believe those are 4-piston calipers. They have received some criticism over the years, especially because they use those same brakes on the Model S Plaid with double the horsepower, and it has a little bit more trouble slowing all that speed down. Continuing along, you can see some cutouts here for the full camera system that's available on this car, which we'll all talk about during the test drive portion of this video. You have flush mounted door handles right here. As you can see, they will pop out to unlock everything. Some additional cameras right there. This one is tinted out with the glass as well. You also have a full moonroof up here. Obviously, this does not open, but provides a lot of additional light into the cabin. I think the overall design of the Model S still looks good after all these years. They definitely made a couple changes to freshen it up a little bit, but it does start to show its age, especially being around for over 15 years almost at this point. But let's go ahead and check out the cargo space on this car. It is a full power liftgate, so all you have to do is put your finger right there and press the button. And with the rear seats folded up, you have around 25 cubic feet of storage, and with them down, you have around 62 cubic feet. So it is nice and practical, and it is a large opening and not too much of a step in or kind of lift over height, if you will. So you can actually fit quite a few things in here. The front trunk of the Model S also offers around 3 additional cubic feet of storage. So a lot of people like to put charging cables and stuff up here as well. Let's go ahead and hop in the Model S, and there's many ways to actually get in this car, including the key, which is just this credit card thing, but you can also have the app on your phone as well as a walk-away unlock and lock feature. This is just the standard way, so we'll go ahead and walk up to the door or the panel right here, tap it, and the door handles, like I said, will pop out for you. Once you hop inside the Model S, you can just pull the door handle like this to go ahead and close, and to start it up, you just have to put your foot on the brake and everything will go ahead and power on. In terms of material quality on this car, it's not bad. You do have some kind of faux leather, I guess, on the door panel with some wood trim. I'm assuming that's real, but very well could be fake. Some of the other stitching and stuff on top of the instrument cluster is nice. You also have the wood trim continuing along the dashboard as well. But obviously what dominates the experience are these two driver screens right here. Obviously you have the one for speedometer and vehicle information, and everything else from music to vehicle settings all in this one. You also have the yoke steering wheel, which I have a lot to say about in the test drive portion of this video. Needless to say, I'm not a fan. But let's go ahead and just start with the star of the show, this main infotainment display. I believe it's around a 16-inch display. The main kind of navigation is on the left here in this car icon. You can see all the controls for the vehicle, the pedals, the steering, the charging settings, autopilot, central locking lights. I'm just going through all the menus. You guys can pause and look to see what you guys are interested in. But all the scheduling things for safety and service, software updates. This is actually how you put the vehicle in gear. It's no gear selector or anything down here. So you put your foot on the brake and kind of pull down like so to put it in reverse. Obviously the full camera system, which I showed you guys a second ago, which is very nice and high quality. There's no 360 camera. You just kind of have these different angles, which I kind of wish Tesla would just do a software update for. To put it in drive, you kind of push the car up like so. And as you can see, we are, ready to go. And to put it in park, you press the P at the top of the screen. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of on this screen is how everything is kind of controlled through the steering wheel for like vehicle functions. So for example, if we go into the steering icon right here, this adjusts the height of the steering column. You can see you have to use this dial right here to do so. There's nothing like on the actual column. Same for like the mirrors, for example. If we go into that option right here, again, you use this left side of the steering wheel here to adjust like your mirrors and things. I just kind of wish there were like actual buttons and things to adjust that. I know it saves space and stuff in this screen, but you kind of have to fiddle around. However, some things I really do like outside of the amazing resolution and graphics and processing speed and everything is kind of the other like things you wouldn't expect, like the display tilt, for example. You can hit that and it'll actually motorize itself out and actually towards that direction of the car, which is very interesting. I guess that's for left and right hand drive markets. You also have some shortcut buttons down here for phone. You can also bring up the full camera system. Again, you have Spotify integration, all the other apps and things that you can take a look at. Underneath, you also have some storage. I believe these are wireless charging pads, or you can option it to be that. You have kind of a semi button right here for the hazards, which I guess is mandated by law. A little bit of storage right here underneath the nice wood trim. Cup holders right here as well. Storage in the center console, and it's leather wrapped as well. The back seat of the Model S is pretty much as you would expect for kind of a mid-sized sedan. You have a good amount of room back here, same nice materials on the door panel. If you go ahead and take a step inside, I'll show you guys what the space looks like. It actually is pretty roomy. I have the driver's seat in kind of a standard driving position, and you can see my knees are still have a few inches to the back of the seat. You can see you also have a screen here, which was new. You can see the climate control is going crazy right now, but you have some temperature. You can also play some games and watch Netflix and YouTube back here, which is very nice. But with the interior and exterior tour completed, let's go ahead and set the camera up and hit the road in the Model S. I've been very interested to drive one of these. It's been a long time since I've been able to drive a Tesla, so let's go ahead and hit the road. All right, guys, welcome to the inside of the Model S, and let's just talk about the number one thing we're all here for is this yoke steering wheel. As you can see, I'm taking this turn here. It is just not a comfortable experience whatsoever. The turn signals being on the actual steering wheel is also kind of interesting to me. You have to tap them again to cancel. I have just been kind of maneuvering this car around in the parking garage and stuff. As you can see, the turn signal's still on. Yeah, I didn't cancel it. But yeah, I mean, like this steering wheel and the controls on it are just not intuitive whatsoever. I've been maneuvering this around parking garages and stuff, and my hands have just naturally tried to reach for this top part of the wheel. It's just not comfortable at all, and I know that's why Tesla reverted back to the original style wheel, because the only comfortable way to grip this steering wheel is like this, like a video game controller. And other than that, like in regular everyday scenarios, it's just not very good. So that would honestly be my number one complaint about this car. I know it's easily fixable, and they have fixed it already in the newer Model S's. But the thing I do like about this car, though, is that the regen brakes are very strong. I actually just drove a base model Porsche Taycan, and no matter how much I played with the settings and the infotainment, the regen braking was not as strong and reassuring as this. I do like how you basically don't even have to use the friction brakes on this car to come to a stop. As you can see, it's also doing the auto hold feature. So my feet are pretty much off the pedals completely here, which is nice. Once you're up and moving, however, as with many electric cars, it is very quiet in here. There's a little bit more road noise than I was expecting. I'm not sure if it's due to these kind of low profile tires or anything like that. But honestly, it's still very quiet in here. If you go ahead and give this thing a little bit of gas on the on-ramp, the one thing you can't say about Teslas is that they're slow. This thing has, I think, 670 horsepower, like I said, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. This does not feel like the slower Model S, if you will. I can't even imagine what the Plaid feels like, to be honest with you, with double the horsepower. This is everything that you would possibly need in straight line performance. The thing that this autopilot will not do is lane changes. So if you signal like this to go into the lane next to you, it auto canceled, and you have to actually complete the lane change manually. Once you're in the lane though, you can go ahead and press autopilot again. The good thing is that the turn signal actually did self-cancel once you were in the lane. So nice stuff there, but it's not, like I said, as advanced as maybe a GM Super Cruise or something like that. But overall, guys, that kind of wraps up my short test drive of the Model S. I still really like this car and recommend it if you're looking for an electric sedan. It's still highly competitive in the market. Huge thank you again to Leesburg Buick and GMC for allowing me to film this car. I have all the contact information in the description box below, and I'll catch you in the next one.